Bron not. I'm.
Bro, you said Bron.
If I'm being honest, Bron is not a top 10 player.
All right, bro.
Bron is not a top 10 player. Can I tell you why? And we can wrap it up.
Because it's a lie. I don't want to put lies on this podcast.
No. I'm gonna tell you why Bron is not a top 10 player.
A top 10 player of what?
All time.
Welcome back to another episode on Score Society TV. Before we start, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. We want to keep getting amazing guests. And today is nothing short of that. I got my guy from Philly, a football legend from Philly, now trainer, and apparently he's a sports fan. And we want to pick his mind and we want to pick his brain and hear some of his sports takes as well as his journey. Please welcome Eric Waters.
How y'all doing?
Thank you, bro.
Today?
Thank you for coming out, bro. Me and you always debate. Me and you always debating via DM. So I figure, you know what, this would make a good show.
Going on for 2 months straight.
Yeah, 2 months straight, bro. So you know what? Before we get into all that, I want everyone else. I know you personally, but I want everyone else to get to know you as well. So you are from Philly and you play football. Tell me a little bit about that. Tell me a little bit. Because I know you told me basketball was your first love. So what happened with basketball to make you say, okay, I want to play football? What good of football came to you that you said, okay, I want to play basketball, or I don't want to play basketball?
The real thing, my dad, number one sport was basketball. So I grew up in a family where both sides of my mom and dad, where basketball was the sport. You know, all my uncles played basketball. You know, high school was a thing. Go to parks, play basketball, pick up, go to gyms, churches. You know, basketball was a sport. So obviously, you know, when I was growing up, the first sport I had was a basketball. Right. Growing up across the street from a basketball court, right. That's where I was playing around as a kid, was shooting a basketball. It wasn't until my dad got me into the game of football, which was also his second sport, and that's where I started picking up the game of football. Growing up at an early age, it was actually on and off. It was both basketball and football. So all the way up until 8th grade, you know, I was playing middle school basketball and I was playing football in another season. It wasn't until I got to high school where I was like, yo, I could really take off. I had a very successful, you know, little league season career for 6-7 years. And I started training at a high level in high school football, even when I was in middle school.
What high school you went to?
So I went to Shellingham High.
Okay.
And as an 8th grader, you know, me and my boy Desmond, after 8th grade school, we went over to the high school and we was training with the high school football players. So we started really taking football seriously. And ever since then, I never picked up another basketball, never stepped on another basketball court. And I just more so focused my shift on the sport that I felt like I loved the most and I was the best or the better at, which was football. That's really how, you know, the basketball, football.
So you and you did really good at football, right? Before you moved from Shelton and moved to California. Talk to me about, you know, that process. And you went to San Diego State University, correct? Tell me about why you chose San Diego State.
So first, when I left Philly, I did not want to come to LA. My dad was already living out here. He wanted me to be in a better environment as far as being around better football, better talent, getting my name out there well known. You know, when I came out here, it was just me going through the motions. I left all my childhood friends. I left my family behind. You know, I had a very successful finishing to my high school career out here in California, specifically Chatsworth High. You know, broke some records, got a lot of attention from, you know.
You went to Chatsworth High?
Yeah.
Okay.
Went to Chatsworth High, got a lot of attention from a lot of universities, won some championships. So, you know, my main goal obviously was going to the league. So I was in a better place. I was in a better space. I was in a better environment. And I just never looked back. When we got to college, I decided to go, you know, to SDSU. Really wanted to
What position you play from in high school?
So in high school, I was actually considered an athlete. And for people who might not know exactly what that means, when you're labeled an athlete in football, it means you play multiple sports or multiple positions.
Mm-hmm.
So being on varsity as a freshman and sophomore in Philly, I was actually a quarterback and corner, right?
Okay.
But I grew up playing running back. So when I moved out here, I was like, you know what? Let me go back to running back. So where I got the most attention from was actually running back and corner.
Right.
Cornerback being number one. And that's what I wanted to really focus on as far as like the positions I played. So growing up, I've always just been an athlete. I've always been versatile. I've always played multiple positions. But I would say probably my main position would be running back or corner.
Dope. So you ended your career at San Diego State University?
No, Northwestern.
Northwestern.
Yeah.
Okay, why the transfer?
So I left SDSU. I went to a JUCO because I had to finish up some classes.
Okay.
And then I played a season at a JUCO program. So more so of a bounce back. That's what they call it in the sports world. And then got another full ride scholarship all the way to Northwestern State. Finished off my career there. It was easier to focus. It was easy for me to stay on track. I was working on my second degree at the time. And even though I was away from home, being at Northwestern State, it allowed me to actually become a man, because I have my extended family on the west side. I didn't have my main family on the east, right? It allowed me to just grow up at 22, 23 years old and really learn the ropes, taking care of my own bills, taking care of myself with no, support as far as like, oh, let me go to my mom's house, oh, let me go to my boy's house. It was, I had to really just take care of him for myself.
Right. No. So when did you become a sports fan? When did you realize you was a sports fan? Because that's a very broad statement.
Honestly, I've always, like I said, I grew up in sports. That's all I know. My mom was very big in softball. She ended up becoming a registered nurse. She went to Penn State. My mom was very heavily in sports. My dad was a 3-sport athlete: football, basketball.
You come from a sports family.
Yeah, so everything was just involved with sports. So me growing up, obviously my favorite teams was the Lakers. The Patriots is my favorite football team. Obviously college football. I think everybody that's around that age of like the early 30s, when we were youngins, we grew up watching Reggie Bush.
Reggie
we grew up
Bush
right.
Yes.
We grew up watching people like Vince Young. So I grew up being a USC fan. So my main goal was to try to get to USC because I wanted to be the next Reggie Bush. Right. So every step of the way of my life, sports have always been that vital lifeline to me because sports also kept me focused, right? Gotcha. And better than probably anybody that growing up in an area like that Philadelphia area, it's very easy to get caught up.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's very easy to get caught up in the wrong crowd, and a lot of us don't really in that area really make it to see that 18 years of age.
Yeah, right.
So a lot of us, sports was the way out.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I got an older brother, my pops, some of my uncles, they really kept me strapped down to sports because that's what got me to this point in my life.
Gotcha. So when I say sports fan, I mean like we be debating, we always talking, and I be always confused like how you was able to keep up with the football and then keep up with all the basketball stuff. So, but you seem very knowledgeable. Like I give you credit. At some point I'm like, all right, cool, you got a good memory on this. Give me your top 5 all NBA, like your NBA players, your top 5
right.
guys.
So my top 5 all NBA players. You want 1 through 5 or just like name 5?
Just name 5. Your favorite guys. You don't have to.
My top 5 is Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Nikola Jokic, and probably I'll put LeBron in there.
How is LeBron the 5th best player and he leads all stats? Like he leads all major statistics. How you put Jokic before him?
So my thing
And
is
Kareem.
right. So
And Kobe.
right. So now this all depends on how people view right what they call the GOAT.
Okay.
So what I label the GOAT is somebody who right not only has the stats
Right.
right not only has the longevity right because to me the most important thing, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people would agree, winning is the most important thing
Absolutely.
in sports, right?
Absolutely.
We don't play sports to have stats. You play to win the game,
Okay.
right? You play to win championships. So when we're thinking of the aspects of what makes a person great, right? Leadership skills, how they led a team,
Mm-hmm.
how they won the championships, right?
Mm-hmm.
These things all determine, all right, well, what is the GOAT? Now, if we're looking at the top 5 that I named, right? Just giving out some examples like Michael Jordan, right?
Mm-hmm.
He struggled early on in his career. We all know that. Getting bounced in the playoffs left and right,
Mm-hmm.
right? Going up against dynasties left and right. But then,
Mm-hmm.
he stuck it out. He stuck it out, right? His team got a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
He then won 6 championships,
6
right?
championships.
He led his team, right? He didn't shy away from nobody. So the characteristic skills were there. Michael Jordan also got the stats, right? We also, like you said before, we never seen anything like Mike, right? Same thing with Kobe Bryant.
Wait, let's stop. Let's stop at Mike. Let's stop.
Right.
We gonna. I'm gonna use your word, debunk. Debunk all your picks. Okay, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is not my number one player. LeBron is. And the reason why I'm saying Michael Jordan is not, because here's the thing. Michael Jordan, I understand why everyone says he's the number one guy. Because of the influence, right? So back in, he was drafted 84, 85. He was drafted during a time where the Lakers and Celtics were battling each other for 10 years. 8 out of the 10 championships that was won in the 80s was won by either the Lakers or the Celtics. And he came in and he revolutionized the game. Like, no one has seen the things that he was doing. So I understand when people see things for the first time, it's usually in their head, an imprint in their head, this is the best thing I ever seen. Especially when it's different from someone else. The long shorts, the sneakers, the whole nine. Now, not taking nothing away from Michael, right? Amazing player. But here's my only knock on Michael's legacy in the beginning. He did not play against the top guards. When he came in the league for the first, so like you said, he was losing, but that doesn't make, I still think him losing is not the end of the world, because he averaged 35 points. His first or second year, don't quote me on that, first or second year. But he didn't start winning championships until the big dogs left. Isaiah Thomas, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, they started retiring around 91 to 93. That's when he started winning his championships. If you go back and look at the top 5 scorers of all, not scorers all time, top 5 scorers in the season from 92 to 90, I want to say 8, Jordan was the only guard in the top 5. He was the only guard. That means everyone else was bigs. That means the people he had to go against couldn't play like him. They wasn't jumping like him. They wasn't running like him. LeBron James played in all those eras. LeBron James played in the era where guys were equally skilled, guys were shooting threes. You also played in the era where there was bigs as well. So the reason, and then you said Michael Jordan stuck it through. He didn't stick it through. He retired 3 times. He stopped at 3. And in fact, this first retirement, he said he lost the love of the game. LeBron didn't do that. Not one time did he do that. So I just want to say that about Jordan. Jordan is an amazing player, everyone. But for those reasons, he's not my GOAT. So now go to Kobe. Go to Kobe.
So you already know Kobe. Kobe is my GOAT. Kobe is above all. And to me, this is not just pure bias, right? This is me coming from a sports mentality, a sports background. Everybody should appreciate the journey that Kobe went on.
Absolutely.
Right?
100%.
Like we speak of all the time, Kobe he came into the league, right? Had a insane, one of the best high school careers of any high school player to come out of high school.
Okay.
So for him to be 18 years old, be the man, right? and then come straight into the league and then ride the bench,
Right.
and then have to work his way to the mountaintop, right?
Right.
No shortcuts, right? No handouts, right? You already had a superstar on the team, right? You already had Shaq on the squad, and like we said before, Lakers wasn't doing anything before Kobe was in the lineup.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So in a nutshell, Kobe helped his team go three-peat. Right. Your whole team.
I agree.
Right. You led your team back to the finals. Right. And 03-04, obviously you lost that finals. And then your whole team was dismantled. Right. We can't name another player in NBA history.
Okay.
What superstar ever went through their prime, right, on a rebuilding team. Okay. Another person who stuck it out, right? It might have been some trade requests here, or I'm interested. I know he was interested in playing for Chicago, right? But at the same time, he didn't go nowhere. He stayed in yellow and purple, right? So he stuck it through and then went back to 3 more finals, right?
I agree.
All back to back to back.
This is
okay. So now, in the span of, if we're not talking his bench, right? If you're not talking all the season and the injuries he had towards the end of his career, right? We've never seen a prime like Kobe Bryant. And that's better than MJ.
Okay.
That's better than MJ. So for Kobe, it was, all right, well, what can he do without Shaq? Right? He did a lot without Shaq.
Okay.
And Shaq didn't do a lot without him.
Okay.
Right. So that's why Kobe, to me, Kobe's mentality, Kobe's leadership skills, what Kobe had to go through, what Kobe played through, having the biggest market city on his back.
I agree.
Right. And
that's facts.
and never shied away, never faltered one time. Right. He overcame. And when me growing up, Kobe was the villain in the NBA. Kobe was the villain in the NBA and still was the man. You know, Kobe was doing so good to the point where people started worshiping him towards the end of his career, because it was like, yo, we hated Kobe for so long, right? We wanted to see Kobe lose. Growing up, people wanted AI to win, right?
Yeah.
People wanted Tracy McGrady to win, right? People wanted to see Van Sanity win, right? So Kobe overcame nothing but obstacles all throughout his career to the point where he still won. He was still the baddest man, right? And what Kobe has shown, not on just longevity standpoint, not just on stats standpoint, not just on ring standpoint, all-time team standpoint, he did all that, right, after spending 3 years on the bench, right? And then the late end of his career where it was nothing but season-ending injuries. So he had that short span where he did all that work.
Good. All right. Some of the stuff I agree with. I definitely agree. What you describing to me is a brand, right? I think Kobe Bryant, I said this before in a video, I made a video about it. Kobe Bryant had the best brand. When I say brand, I mean he's the best player to relate to. He wasn't freakishly athletic, but NBA athletic. He didn't have freakishly long arms, right? But long enough. Excuse me. Long enough. But when I think of the GOAT, I don't try to change the definition here. Like, the GOAT is what it is. Greatest of all time. Kobe Bryant wasn't great all the time. He can't. You say the Lakers wasn't doing anything. The Lakers was in the playoffs with him on the bench. They lost in the second round. That's doing something. That's actually a winning season for any NBA team. Any NBA team makes the playoff. That's a winning season for them. Shaq was Shaq was the superstar there. Right. He had Nick Van Exel, All-Star. Eddie Jones, All-Star. He had 3 guys in front of him that can show him the ropes. That's a red carpet to me. That's a red carpet. For most of his rings, he was the second guy.
Not true.
He was
Not
definitely
true.
the second guy.
Not true.
And he was the second guy based on the stat. All right, we talk about the finals, right? You got a guy on your team that's winning not only season MVP, but he won 3 MVPs,
Right.
3 finals MVPs, averaged 36 to 38 points
Right.
through all those finals.
Right.
Kobe Bryant had the opportunity to Kobe Bryant took over the team once Shaq and all those guys left. But Shaq, you said Shaq didn't do much afterwards. Shaq won a ring the year after. And of course he didn't do much afterwards because he was in the league since 1992.
Right.
Shaq's last ring was 2005, which means that was 13 years after he was drafted. It ain't much no NBA players doing after 13 years. There's only a selected few who still ball out after 13 years.
Well, yeah, but let's not forget, Shaq didn't ball out. Shaq had a productive year for a center, right? But then again,
He averaged 22 points and 11 rebounds.
But this is where we got to give credit where credit is due, because let's not forget the crazy, insane year that Dwayne Wade had.
No, of course.
That had, right?
Of course.
And still, in my opinion, we talked about this before as well, Dwayne Wade had probably the greatest playoff run in 06.
In 06, yeah, sure.
Right.
He won the championship.
Right.
I give him
he
that.
had the greatest playoff run.
But he
know,
wouldn't have did it
arguably.
without Shaq, because if that's the case,
Right.
he would have won it the year before.
Well, no, but you got to also understand, though,
Because they went far the year
But-
before. They had a good team year before.
right. But you got to also understand, though, Wade was still super young when he did all this. If I'm not mistaken,
I agree.
Wade was, what, 24?
Yeah, he was young.
Right.
He was young.
So that takes me back to my point with Kobe, right? It was just Shaq's turn, right, during that time. Because think about it. Everything that Kobe was doing for the Lakers during that three-peat, Kobe was 20, 21, 22, right? So obviously, Shaq been in the league, like you said, 92, right? So he already been in the league for almost a decade, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, Shaq did his part. Shaq did a lot, but I'm going to explain to y'all why. I'm going to explain to y'all why Kobe was never in the shadow of Shaq, right?
Huh?
Because
How wasn't he?
I'm gonna tell you why.
He literally came off the bench.
Right,
Shaq was a
right.
superstar. How wasn't he
so
in
a
the
lot
shadow?
of people, so a lot of people don't know, right? Because a lot of people, right, they pay attention to the social media outlets, right? They don't actually do the research, right? And sure, you know me, I do my research, right?
I don't know
Right.
that, but go ahead.
So Dale Harris, right? He did not want to play Kobe, right? Kobe even said that in an interview with Barnes and Steven Jackson, right?
I get it.
Dale Harris did not want to play that 18-year-old dude over those seasonal vets,
Right.
Right, the Knicks, the Eddies, the Fox, obviously, right? So it wasn't until Rick Fox got hurt,
right.
Kobe came in for 7 straight games, right? Started at small forward and had 7 double-doubles.
But-
Now,
go ahead.
let me finish, right? Now you're looking towards, right, the statistical standpoint, right? When Kobe became a starter, right, the Lakers won 20 plus more games.
Okay.
Right, the first season. Right now, you're talking about a 20-year-old kid.
Right.
Right. Now, you go straight to the championship and then you win. Right now, you're 15-1. Now, after that season,
Right.
right, the year they face the Sixers in the finals, Kobe led the team in 90% of the stats. Right now, did he have the best points per game average? No, because that's what the naked eye sees. But now, if you look up total points on the season and postseason, if you look up total assists, total steals, right, whatever the case may be on all metric stats, Kobe was leading, right?
Shaq averaged 36 points and 15 rebounds.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying, right? So now,
Kobe averaged 10 points less.
Right. So
And that was his job to score.
So right now, remember, I'm gonna take a word out of your dictionary, right? And you like to say the word snapshot, right? You talking about
definitely snapshot.
right? Snapshot, right? So a small portion. So when we talking about, all right, just the finals, okay, yeah, we already know. When the Lakers got to the finals, right, they went up against weaker competition at the center position, right? And I'm saying that to say because
And who was the guards for the Indiana Pacers and You think AI was playing defense?
No. It's not about.
Who was the guard for the Nets?
Wait. But it's not about playing defense. What I'm saying is, when the Lakers was in the playoffs in the Western Conference, right? You had the Tim Duncans, right? You had the Chris Webbers, right? You had the Kevin Garnetts.
Shaq averaged 28 points through all them series.
Exactly, right? But then, how many times did we go over the stats where Kobe was the leading scorer of those series?
There was leading scorer games. There was
no. Series two.
I'm not going to say Kobe wasn't good. Kobe was great.
Right.
But when you say greatest of all time, you got to be the greatest of all time. If you the argument that you have right now is an argument you won't have for Jordan. You don't have an argument for Jordan coming off the bench and earning his keep. You don't have an argument for LeBron coming off the bench. But LeBron James would have never came off the bench for Eddie Jones. He would have never came off the bench for Rick Fox. He would have never came off the bench for these guys. So I don't know how. No, don't get me wrong. Kobe had a great, I say 5 to 7 years where he just dominated, where nobody could stop it, where it was just his era. From that 2006 to that 2006 to maybe 2011, 2006 to 2011, it was all Kobe. Nobody can stop Kobe. Though when you say greatest of all time, though, he wasn't the greatest of all. Because even how you structured your argument, if you take away the injury years, you take away the years he came off the bench, well, then if that's the case, you can do that for anyone. But you can't. That's not the greatest of all time. I think he had a great era. I think his brand is amazing for young people or anyone who believe that they can do things in the world, but they don't know how to get there. And you look at Kobe Bryant and his work ethic, outwork people. And that's what Kobe did. And that's why I love Kobe, because he outworked people. And that's what I think most people can do. That's an attribute that most people can have. They can outwork people. But certain people are just gifted. Certain people like Michael Jordan and LeBron James are just gifted, and they started out from the beginning.
Right.
LeBron James came out as a straight out of high school, all the pressure in the world. No Shaq on his team, no All-Stars on his team. 2 years later, had the number one record in the league. Was most of his career, 45% of his career, he was in the finals. With no guidance. With no guidance the whole way through. Kobe had a bunch of guidance. Bunch of people to hide behind. She had Shaq. He had Phil Jackson. He played with 4 Hall of Famers. We want to forget about the failed super team of Karl Malone and Gary Payton.
That's not a super team. That's not a super team.
They averaged 14, 15 points for the Lakers. A year before they went to the Lakers, they averaged 22 points. Gary Payton and Shaq went to the Miami Heat the next year and won a ring. So
now you said a lot of stuff without context, right? And you know me, I break things down.
Go ahead.
So now I'm gonna just start off. You said failed super team, right?
Failed super team.
Now, if Karl Malone, right, a 20-year vet, Gary Payton, who I believe was a 17-year vet at the time, right? Those, you can't call that a super team. The reason why that's not a super team is because that was a bunch of old dudes, right?
They didn't trade them to be a bunch of old dudes. It wasn't the last leg.
Wait. It was their last leg.
They averaged 15 points with 2 superstars on their team.
So you average. So now, right? You, like you said before, right?
They never played with 2 superstars. Like Gary Payton and Karl Malone never played with 2 superstars. They averaged 15 points apiece with 2 superstars. So that's a great.
If they wasn't past, so look, I'm gonna ask you this then: if they wasn't past the prime, right? Why did the Sonics let Gary go, and why did Utah let Malone go? If they wasn't past their prime,
I don't know the contract. I don't know the free agents. Right. I don't know.
So now the reason why they didn't sign him back, right? Because it was little.
They let Shaq go, and he won a ring the next year.
Okay, so I'll bring that up. But let me stay on the topic of why that 03-04 Laker team was not a super team. Now, if you're looking at just the stats and you're like, oh, well, Malone scored 15 points a game, or Gary Payton had 10 points a game, right? Yeah, no, you're going to look at it and be like, no, that's a super team. No, that was the same thing as the Lakers in what was it, 2021, where they had Melo, they had Russ, you know, they had a whole bunch of people, Dwight, all of them, right? Just teaming up together, all past their prime. All past their prime, all in their 30s, all in their mid-30s or late 30s, however old they were. That's not a super team. That's why I don't call it 2021.
That's because you don't call it.
Wait.
They averaged. They brought them in to be a super team.
The 2021 Lakers is not a super team because you had a whole bunch of old dudes past their prime trying to come in.
2000 when?
2021.
Okay.
You had a whole bunch of older guys coming in and just making it away.
When you got a bunch of older guys,
now,
they want you to come in and win right away. They not
now,
these guys
now,
wasn't bench players.
Look,
these guys
now,
wasn't on the. They wasn't Tracy McGrady for the Spurs.
Now, let me tell you this,
or the
right?
Pistons.
Now, for example, if the Lakers had Shaq, Kobe, right, while they were both in their prime or early prime, and then you had the Malone from 95, 96, excuse me, and then you had the Gary Payton from 95, right?
Right.
That's the super team because now you got a whole bunch of star players in their prime. No, because the thing is, right, this is why I also don't call the 2018 Cleveland Cavaliers a super team. That year where they had D Rose, Dwayne Wade.
They tried to make it and it failed.
No.
I'm okay with them. Right. I'm okay with people failing, bro.
But the thing is, I mean, I guess everybody had their own stipulations of what a super team is. But to me, a super team is what Bron did in Miami, right, where he teamed up with two other superstars at the peak in the middle of their prime. That's a super team to me.
Okay.
Like, for example, what the Warriors did with KD joining Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, right, in the middle of their prime. That's a super team to me.
So,
right? So, like, for example, even what now a failed super team is what Brooklyn did with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. That's a failed super team to me, right? A failed super team to me is the Phoenix Suns with Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant, right? That's a failed super team to me.
But a super team is what.
Not just household names.
What's intended? Like, so if you bringing guys in and they still starters,
right?
They're intending for them to win that year.
Are you saying that because they're household names?
No, I'm saying it because if they were on a team previously where they averaged points and they were a starter and it was the leading scorer for their team the year before. Right. They're intending for them to come over here and do the same thing. That's what a super team is. Rather you want to admit it or not, rather you want to look at it. That's what it is intent.
Like to me, that KG, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, that's not a super team to me.
For who, the Celtics?
Yeah, that wasn't a super team.
How? They was called the Big Three?
No. Yeah, they was called the Big Three because they were the three big household names. Right they still was. They won a championship.
But
I'm going to tell you why. So Ray Allen put a whole bunch of work in Milwaukee. No success after a decade, right? Same thing with Paul Pierce in Boston. Decade of work, no success, right? So now you're looking at guys with a whole bunch of wear and tear all throughout their body, right? They pushing now more towards the end of their career. Same thing with Kevin Garnett. Same thing, a decade of work and Minnesota, right? No success.
Right.
So now when you start looking at, all right, well, we going towards the end of our career now. We kind of gotta make something happen, right? And that's what they did. They made something happen. Now, none of those players had in a historic year the year before.
Right.
None of those players was coming off of an All NBA season anymore. Right now, let me tell you this, right? Bron joined two players, right, in Miami who came off their best season.
Right.
Wade was All NBA, had his best statistical season. Right. They was actually talking about how Wade actually got ripped off at MVP. If I'm not mistaken, Wade
always say somebody got ripped off.
Wade averaged 37-6.
Right.
The year before Bron joined him.
37-6.
No, 30 points, 7 assists, and then 6 rebounds.
I haven't memorized.
Yeah.
The
stats
of 2005.
That was more assists than what Bron had that previous year, and that was more points than Bron had that previous year. So now what I'm saying is, right, hear me out.
Okay, I'm listening to you. Because we got to switch. We got to go to the next subject.
Oh, yeah. So Bron joined two players in the middle of the prime. To me, that's a super team. What the Warriors did, that's a super team, right?
That's fine.
What Brooklyn did, that's a super team.
That's because you don't want to. You don't want to take that. You don't want to put that on Kobe jacket. That's all it is. No. But anywho, I mean, that's your definition, But either way, LeBron still was the superstar on the super team,
right?
And Kobe wasn't the superstar on his teams. Like when it was 3 teams. So
leading stats, leading 90% of stats during that 3-peat.
He was not.
All right, name another Robin like that.
He's the only Robin like that. I'll give you that.
That's not that's not a Robin. You can't be a Robin leading in all the stats.
Dwayne Wade at that point. But so you said Kareem next. I don't know how you put Kareem in front of LeBron, but go ahead.
So the reason why Kareem is in front of LeBron is because this is the double standard that the media got today, right?
Right.
The double standard is we never worship Karl Malone for being second all time on a scoring list.
Okay.
Even though he wasn't a three-point shooter, right? Wasn't really a jump shot shooter, right? He'll shoot for the top of the block once in a while. But you talking about two people who got their points simply in the paint, right? We never worship them as being the greatest players of all time.
Right.
And when we say, like, we're talking number one.
Right.
Now, I can understand why Karl Malone won't be the number one player because he ain't win no championships.
Okay.
Right? He lost.
Fair.
Now, Kareem got 5 rings. Right? I'm not 100% accurate on what Kareem's record is in the finals, right? But I think he lost once, maybe twice.
Maybe.
Right? So but
the Celtics and the Lakers have maybe.
You're right. So if I'm not mistaken, he won more than he lost. So he had the greatest amount of points. He had a great 20-year career, and he had 5 championships, right? But never once did anybody ever say he was the greatest player of all time.
Because the greatest player of all time is like is a package, right? Like, skills got to go in there too. So if we just going off rings, just throw Bill Russell on top.
No. It's not just rings.
It's a skill. It has to be a skill thing. So yes, Kareem might have been the greatest center at the time based on his skill set as a center. But then you jump in there and you got to think you got to throw Jordan in there because he showed a different skill set that we haven't seen yet. Then you got to throw a LeBron in there, a guy who's probably who is Karl Malone's size and can pass. Got a good basketball IQ, can shoot, can make guys around him better, can play the point in a clutch. Like that's what's going to give you that package. Kareem was only played in the paint. He didn't shoot jump shots. He's not. You're not going to say he's better than Jordan or is he better than Kobe or he's better than LeBron if he didn't do any of those things. Like you can't. Then make it like this. The GOAT topic is just that, the greatest of all time, the greatest in skill set, the greatest in stats, the greatest in.
Now, let me make it like this then, right? So Kareem was very skilled for his position, right? Especially during his era of basketball, right? Especially his younger days in Milwaukee, right? So other than Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem was very skilled, right? Now, I'm gonna say this.
How would you know that? You're 31 years old. Like, with Kareem.
So wait.
Games did you watch?
Okay, so now, what I will say is though, right? Because there is enough footage to see.
You didn't watch that footage, bro.
No, but what I'm saying,
you know how hard it is to watch some footage about HD.
Other than Wilt Chamberlain, what other 7-foot center was running up and down the court playing as many minutes?
Shaq
Shaq
ran up.
Shaq did not play as much minutes as Kareem.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. If Shaq would have just developed a 12-foot jump shot and some free throws, he'd be the greatest player of all time. You talking about a person who averaged 30 points, barely on fast breaks, no threes, no free throws. So that means everyone on the court knew exactly what he's going to do. In addition to that, he played in a big man era. Like for the whole 90s, outside of Jordan, the top 5 scorers were big men.
Right.
David Robinson won MVP as a big man.
Right.
And he dominated. He's the most dominating player ever to play in the NBA. So, and he ran the floor. And he was 7'2", 320.
Right. So yeah,
that's a freak athlete, bro.
He was bigger than everybody.
He was bigger, stronger, and he was dominant. So I wouldn't put no Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And I actually watched them games. You didn't even watch them games.
So the reason why I'm gonna say this, right, and this is why I got, and I'm gonna go back to the main topic, right. This is why I got Kareem above LeBron, right. So they both had long, stellar careers, right. You would agree.
I agree that they had long careers.
So long, stellar careers, right? They both scored a lot of points. You would agree to that, right? Okay. Now, you want to know the difference that separates Kareem from LeBron?
Go ahead.
Right? Kareem won. Kareem won
with James Worthy, Magic Johnson, 3 or 4 Hall of Famers on that team where he didn't have the responsibility that LeBron James had. He didn't have the responsibility of bringing the ball up the court. He wasn't the only person on the team. He didn't average over 30-something points by himself. He didn't do any of those things.
Now, you see how you're being biased now. Because
I'm not being biased. I'm being realistic.
Don't forget, he led an older Oscar Robertson to a championship back in 71.
You didn't watch Oscar Robinson. Oscar Robinson was slow as hell. Like, they don't compare to Tracy McGrady and all those guys.
So now, I'm gonna take what you just said. You just got finished saying.
You think Oscar Robinson compared to Russell Westbrook?
No. I'm not saying that. But don't forget, like, we're not going to disrespect the legends just because
I'm not disrespecting them just because they came
in another era. Now,
I'm not disrespecting, but it is what it is.
During their time, Oscar Robinson was the Russell Westbrook. Right?
Okay.
So now what I'm going to say, and I'm going to say this again, right? When we talking, right, GOAT of all time, right? You cannot be the GOAT. And I'm going to say this, I hope everybody hear me loud and clear.
Okay.
Right? You cannot be the GOAT, right? And be 4-6 in the finals.
That's not true, bro.
Right.
That
so
means
I'm gonna tell you what.
All you saying is he went to the finals more than anyone else.
So
like that's all you saying.
So you going to the finals, right? And this is
that's a team effort. That is a team effort.
This is across all sports, right? This is not just basketball. This is not football.
Because if you go and say it's a team effort, if you go and go about the rings, you just say Bill Russell.
No.
Because they won 11 times.
No. Because it's not just the rings, though. It's not just the rings.
All right, then. So if it ain't just the rings, it got what else is it?
Right.
Skills.
So now. You tell me.
Impact.
Tell me. Okay. All right. Now, Suge, you know ball. You know ball. Why isn't Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, people like Allen
Iverson? Because they didn't have skill. They didn't have no guy.
Right.
Charles Barkley didn't shoot no threes on a consistent basis. He wasn't at the top of the key with a goddamn on the screen roll. Neither was Karl Malone. Karl Malone was at the bottom of the screen roll with John Stockton. They didn't have the fucking skills to do the same thing that LeBron is doing. LeBron is shooting one-legged threes off screens.
Victor.
No, but Karl Malone is not. Karl Malone ain't doing it.
How many times did Kobe shoot one-legged
threes? Kobe was
shot,
amazing. I'm not taking that away from Kobe, but you asked me a question. You asked me why isn't Karl Malone in the conversation?
Why isn't Allen Iverson? Why isn't AI in the top 10?
Why isn't AI? AI is definitely in the top 10. I don't know what you want.
No, he's not in the top 10.
AI in the top 10. AI definitely in the top 10.
How you going to put somebody in the top 10 who didn't win?
Top 10 guards of
all time, not guards.
You know how? Because impact.
Why,
what they do to the game? Was they cooking other franchise players? AI did that. In fact, in the 90s, the first guard that actually scored over 27, 28 points, or I'm sorry, average over 28, 27 points outside of Jordan was AI, 1998.
Okay, so now the thing is, there's a reason why Wade is above AI on the ESPN top guards of all time.
I don't give a shit what ESPN say.
So now we're talking about basketball analysts here, right? We're talking about people who studied the game just like you, played the game, right? Studied the game, mastered the game.
Right.
Now we're from Philly, so you grew up being an AI fan. So I understand that, right? But now,
I'm an AI.
No. Hold on. We got to take the bias out of the perspective, and we got to.
I'm not biased.
Wait. We gotta be sports analysts right now, right? We can't be biased, right? AI is not in the top 10 of all time. Why? Because he could not win championships.
That's not true. I don't think you'll find I don't think you'll find enough people to say to not include AI in the top 10. Maybe top 5, yes. Top 10, come on now. I think
and
Wade,
even with him
if you want to put Wade above him because he won a ring,
Wade won rings.
Sure, he won a ring, 100%. But I would not put him. I wouldn't say AI is not in the top 10. He revolutionized the game. He started the whole small ball thing. Yeah, I think so. If I had to sit down and put it all together, AI definitely in the top 10 of all time.
Now, if 100%. You wanted to say AI is one of the most influential players,
no, he's definitely. I'll say he's the top 10 of all time. You talking about a 5'11" guard averaging 31 points,
AI
MVP, and he cooked Kobe Bryant in them finals. In fact, Kobe Bryant spent the first.
This guy keeps saying anything.
In fact, Kobe Bryant spent the first 5 years or 6 years of his career in the shadows of Shaq and AI.
He
definitely did.
See, now once again, you saying stuff without context, and
I'm
gonna
say why. Anybody can look these stats up.
I'm gonna say why is without context, because to the naked eye, right? In the naked eye, right? You see Kobe average 7, then you see him average 13, and then you see him.
That's not a naked eye. That's a fact.
Right. So, but that's the naked eye, though, right?
That's a fact, bro.
Now. The reason why is because people like AI, people like Jordan, people like Bron, right? They were drafted to lottery pick teams, right? That wasn't Kobe's situation.
They was that.
So now, if
because they was them boys coming out of college and high school. Bro.
Wait. But once again, we're talking about somebody who had better stats than LeBron coming out of high school.
Who?
We're talking about Kobe.
Kobe played at Lower Merion.
Right.
He wasn't even playing on the national schedule. He wasn't playing. He wasn't playing on that. I just watched the game last night with LeBron James playing against Westchester in high school with Trevor Ariza. Most of Kobe's stats was against kids in Cheltenham. I mean, kids at Abbott's and friends. He wasn't playing against no national dudes.
We could look that up. We could look that up, right? But at the end of the day, right, these people got drafted to certain teams where they had no choice but to step in. Now, for example, if Kobe never got switched from Charlotte to the Lakers, right? We might be talking about a totally different standpoint. Kobe might have came into the league averaging 25 or 20, right?
No, we only can live in the right. We only can live in the truth.
So and that goes back to my point before, right? This is why Kobe is the GOAT, because Kobe had to overcome the obstacles of being a man, not being a man, and then becoming the man, taking over the city. But you got to
understand that his ability coming into the league created them obstacles. LeBron already had it. LeBron was number one. In fact, I just saw something today. When LeBron was drafted, it was 453 active players, right? LeBron is the only one out of all them people left. And he's still the top guy. So when you talk about he's definitely
he's not the top guy. He's the biggest name.
Okay,
there's a difference.
If you take LeBron off the Lakers right now, they don't do anything.
Okay, now I'm gonna wait, hold on. Go ahead, because I'm gonna tell you why that's not true. I'm gonna tell you why that's not true.
All right,
because last year, last calendar year, right, when LeBron went down with what was it, his hamstring or his calf injury, right? D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Davis, right, led the Lakers to a playoff spot without Bron for the last month and a half, 2 months of the season.
The last month snapshot.
Wait.
It was just 9 months of a goddamn season, bro.
But the thing is, though,
it's 9 months. They was already in position. They had to win a couple games. They professional. Anthony Davis is the highest paid dude, one of the highest paid dude in the league.
This is where,
win.
This is where you know, right, when people either know basketball or they just watch the highlights of basketball. Because a lot of people don't even look at, like, yo.
Who's people? I watch it.
Wait, hold on. Hear me out. Because a lot of sports people, a lot of fake sports fans, they be like, yo, the Lakers made the playoffs, but it was because of LeBron. Now, if you look at the analytical stats of it, LeBron wasn't even playing during the stretch where AD literally took over.
Bro, listen to yourself, bro.
So you just said that the Lakers wouldn't make the
Lakers would not. You can't name a team that LeBron ever played on, and you'd be like, yo, if he was on the bench, they would still had made the playoffs. You couldn't name a team.
Both the super teams.
No, they wouldn't.
Both their super. You trying to tell me Kyrie Irving?
If LeBron was on the bench, maybe they would have made the playoffs. They wouldn't have won what they won. But none of those guys were all-stars at that time. So
who wasn't all-star?
They wasn't all-stars. Kevin Love didn't make the all-star team. Kyrie Irving didn't make the all-star team. They didn't make them. They didn't make those teams.
Sure,
they didn't make those teams. That's very true. That's very true. Look it up. Look it up. Look it up. Hey, they didn't make. They wasn't all-stars. They wasn't all-stars.
The year before LeBron came or LeBron joined, Kevin Love was all NBA.
He was, of course. Everyone.
So if you all NBA, you all star.
No, but he wasn't with the Cavs. But anyone who gets into a good situation can be a good player for him. I'm not taking it away. The recipe and the formula for any championship team is they're going to need 2 to 3 good players. If you go add the points up for
2 to 3 good players, not 2 to 3 superstars.
Even if they're superstars, LeBron was still the biggest superstar. He still won all the accolades. He still won the MVPs.
Because he was the biggest.
He still won the MVP finals. He had the biggest. He had the most stats. He led him in his rebounds, second in assists, and first in points. So
Now, what about ball usage? Does that play a role?
The ball. I mean, he's a superstar. Why wouldn't he have the ball? He should have the damn ball.
Not 93% of the time.
Yes, he should. That's how he won the championship. So it worked.
But wouldn't that explain why he had a whole bunch of stats though?
I mean, that's what if you're a really good player, you're gonna have the ball most of the time. That's what we pay to see. You go pay to go see a Laker game. Do you pay to see LeBron on the bench? No, you pay to, even though you don't like him, you pay to see him play.
Yeah, no. But not pay to see him have the ball.
What?
So, like, for example,
who else was gonna have the ball?
Wait.
Mario Chalmers?
We're seeing it right now, right? Prime example, Luka Doncic, right? He's a prime example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Prime example.
They went to the finals last year.
Of somebody, right, who has the ball 90 to 95% of the game in his hands. Right, you're just like Patrick Beverly said. Just like Patrick Beverly said. If I hold the ball for 40 to 45 minutes a game, I'm gonna get some point. I'm gonna have a lot of stats too.
Okay,
now,
but Patrick Beverly wasn't able to do that.
Wait. See, now that's false because
he wasn't able to do that. Because if he was able to do it, he would have did it.
Because now 2 games later, right? Patrick Beverly came into the starting lineup. Right, I believe he was still playing for the Clippers at the time.
Game.
Wait, but he
been in the league for 15 years and didn't do it one time.
Yeah, so. But the thing is though, he came into the game, right? Had a ball usage of 89%. He had.
You talking about Patrick Beverly?
Yes, for that one game, 89%. Right, the ball was in his hands. Right, the most ever in his career. Right. He had 38, 13, and 8. Patrick Beverly.
Okay, one time.
But what I'm saying is, but that's the metric stats that most of these so-called fans in today's world don't look at. They look at the naked eye.
So you saying that everyone could do what LeBron did if they had the ball
what I'm
in his
saying
hand?
is now we saw it. You already know how I feel about this, right? Melo was better than Bron the first 10 years of their career, right? Because Melo took his team to the playoffs the first year.
Okay.
Right? Melo had better stats, right?
Less responsibilities.
What do you mean less responsibility?
He didn't have
they both got drafted to. They both got drafted
not out of high school. Did he also had a better team? He also had season. He had a season guards and he had
look. You talking about somebody, and we're not going to disrespect Melo because I'm gonna tell you why.
It's not disrespectful to say that someone was better.
No. I'm gonna tell you why. Because we saw Melo go off at Oak Hill, right? We saw Melo go to one of the biggest basketball universities in the country at Syracuse University, especially back then, right? We saw Melo lead his entire team to a national championship.
He was amazing
as a freshman.
That was college,
right? Then he comes into the league, right? Why the hell was LeBron picked number 1 over Carmelo? Because a household name. That's why LeBron was picked first.
Well, I mean, I think
because he was a household name and he was a bigger name.
How was LeBron a household name for people?
Because I'm gonna tell you why. Because
Melo
Melo established.
People could keep up with the NCAA championship more than they could keep up with a high school player.
Melo established himself in high school at a top program in Oak Hill.
Nobody knew that.
Wait, we knew Oak Hill was a top school.
We knew as athletes, but that's not just making it a household name.
Right.
The average Joe wouldn't know who he was.
So, but what I'm saying is Melo did more, right? But was still under the shadow, right? Because you want to know why? LeBron was a freakish athlete who can jump from the free throw line, right? Didn't really establish no real credit, right? Because I'm gonna tell you what, but a state champion is not a freshman leading a top basketball program to a national championship in his freshman year.
That's because he didn't go to college,
right? But that's what I'm saying, though.
That's the point.
So at the end of the day, right? We shun Melo for being.
We didn't shun him. Right. Melo's a great too.
Right, but what I'm saying is Melo always did more than Bron. Melo did more. I'm gonna tell you right now. Melo did more than Bron up until Bron went to Miami. That's where the gap started to grow because then what happened? What happened?
Even if all this is true, greatest of all time, the person who's consistent the most.
Right.
If Melo would have been consistent, we would have a different conversation.
Right.
We can't say guys are the greatest of all time. They had a good portion of their career where they did good. That I commend them for it. That's hard to do within itself. But that's not the greatest of all time. But we gotta wrap it up, man. I appreciate. I want to get some more questions, but we didn't talk for a whole hour.
Hey,
I got my man
you
waiting
have to bring me back because he already know.
I got my man waiting right here,
I know my
bro.
sports. I know my sports, big dog.
I mean, if that's how you feel.
I crack the code on him all the time.
Nah,
I crack the code on him all the time.
Feel.
Look, hey, we've chopped it up. He know how I get with sports.
I mean, I
got the numbers.
I still don't get it.
I'm be honest, Bron not.
Bro, you said Bron.
If I'm being honest, Bron is not a top 10 player.
All right, bro.
Bron is not a top 10 player. Can I tell you why? And we can wrap it up.
Because it's a lie. I don't want to put lies on this podcast.
No. I'm gonna tell you why Bron is not a top 10 player.
A top 10 player of what?
All time.
Go ahead, bro.
Right. One. Right. He took a helicopter to the top. Right.
That's not true.
Now I'm gonna tell you why he took a helicopter to the top. And anybody can answer this, right? Whoever's watching this, whoever gonna tune into this, right? Name another player of LeBron's caliber or superstar level, right? Who joined multiple superstars. Now I'm agree with you. Everybody needs a good team to win, right? 2 to 3 good players, like you said, right? Who else did what LeBron did and joined a super team in order to get over the hump, right? Now we can sit here and we can argue.
James Worthy,
right?
The whole
so where are all
Robert
these
Parrish,
players drafted to?
They wasn't drafted to the Celtics. That Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, Walton, all these guys won rings because they came together. The only reason why,
and that's why Larry Bird not in my top 5 either.
Okay, I understand you want the glory story, like the guys who just scraped the pot and just made a cake out of it, but. At the end of the day, everyone needs good players alongside of them. If you compare the stats,
Bron had the most help.
But LeBron and that team that you're talking about, the only 3 people who averaged double figures on that team was those 3 guys. No. Everyone else, and that's it was. And go look it up. Go look at the look at the 2012 against the that Thunder season. The only people who averaged double figures was those 3 guys. And that's the only team that ever won a championship like that. I'm sorry, the Bulls did the same thing.
So you empty your whole bank account on 3 superstars. You would expect 3 superstars to give you 20 plus points.
That's what a championship team is, bro. Like if you go do the math on the stats, I did the math the other night. The Lakers, the 2008 Lakers or whatever, 2010, whoever won that championship team, they literally was 10 points less than the Heat. It wasn't a big difference, but. Nonetheless, appreciate you. Appreciate you coming on.
Hey, appreciate you for having me, big dog.
Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. So next time, let's continue to think elite and together. Welcome to Score Society.